Afternoon and welcome to the MSBOA District 6 All-Star Band Concert. My name is Cliff Reppart. I'm the Director of Bands here at Bridgman Public Schools. And I'm also the host and the chairperson for organizing and planning for All-Star Band. This is my third year hosting the event, and 15 years ago I was in this very ensemble, on this very stage, back in the percussion section. And at that point in time, I came and sat down in the group, and my eyes were open that, wow, there's music above what we're doing right now in band. And people show up and they know their parts already, like this is crazy. So at that point in time, this ensemble was already an influential impact on my life. And here we are full circle, I'm back here working on the stage on the same event, and it's still having an amazing impact on kids' lives. There's a lot of work that goes into this event. Directors do an enormous amount of work working with kids, distributing music, showing up, helping with kids. We usually have a Monday evening rehearsal, and directors often will do sectionals. We had some early Michigan weather this year and had to cancel Monday. But I would just like all directors to just stand and be recognized for their hard work. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank Quinlan and Fabish, purchased and donated quite a bit of the music that we're playing this evening, and they also have donated instruments and supplies, and also the music folders that we've been using. And SMC, Southwestern Michigan College, probably half the percussion that's back here was brought by Dr. Korzen. He drove it over here in a van, and we unloaded it together. I'd like it if you left some of it here, I wouldn't mind, but definitely a big thank you to QNF and also to SMC, so let's thank them. This afternoon's performance began about a year and a half ago with our initial contact to Mr. Balmages. Once we solidified the date and we knew that this performance was a go, all the directors in District 6 were excited, and students that heard started to get excited as well. He is an award-winning composer, clinician, producer, and we just knew the quality that we were going to have here. And watching him for the past day and a half work with our students, he brings a level of dedication to the craft of composing music and conducting kids, and pulling a performance out of our students. And without any question, our students have grown tremendously in the past day and a half. And also, I would also say that the directors watching were gleaning as much as we could from the rehearsals, and I think we've grown as well. It has just been a tremendous pleasure. Would you please join me in welcoming Mr. Brian Balmages to the stage.
Thank you very much. I'm going to do something that I very rarely in my life get to do, and I'm going to do that right now. You saw it here. Thank you, Cliff, for making that possible. The first piece that we performed was a piece called Through Darkened, Sleepy Hollow, and it tells the story of Ichabod Crane and his being chased by the Headless Horseman. And obviously, as you can tell from the music, it did not end very well, as it was the case in the story. Very programmatic, and it paints a wonderful picture of that story. The next piece we're going to perform is very different and very emotionally engaging, not only for me, but I think for the students. It's a piece called Endless Rainbows, and it involves a group in Illinois that commissioned a piece of music. And they hired me to commission a piece, but roughly about 2.5 years prior to the premiere. Well, the year of that premiere, the first week of school, I got a call from that band director prior to beginning the piece to let me know that the day before school, he lost his principal trumpet player to a tragedy. There was a family reunion, and they were by a pond, and they think he just literally swung out on this rope into the pond, and they think knocked the wind out of himself, and they couldn't find him. And so this joyous commission turned into something very, very different. The title, Endless Rainbows, comes from the area where this family lived. They've been living there for 20 years, and they live by this pond, Post Pond. And in 20 years living there, they've never seen a rainbow in the morning, just the weather pattern, the way it is there. The morning of Ben's funeral, they saw a double rainbow above that pond. And while I don't think any of us would want to or could possibly imagine what it must have been like for that family on that terrible day, you also have to think that that rainbow got them through. And was the very beginning of a very long healing process. So this title, Endless Rainbows, is signifying that that rainbow never ends. It'll always be there for all of us. In this time of tragedy, with the countless things that happen in our schools, out of our schools, this is a piece for all of us to heal. So I hope you enjoy Endless Rainbows. You should have heard us yesterday morning. I'm always astounded by several things in weekends like this. One of those things happens to do with growth of musicians, the way they grow, and how far they come in the course of 30 hours, which is basically what it is. Growth like that does not happen because of me. I wish I could take credit for it. Growth like that happens because of some other pretty important people. You. I'm talking to several versions of you. I'm talking to the directors out there who take the time day in, day out to fight a big battle against a lot of people who think this doesn't matter anymore. And they fight that battle every day off the podium. And then they get on that podium and they somehow manage to put that aside to get these young men and women on stage to grow to be the musicians that you hear now. I'm talking to the other you, the parents, the family, the friends, the neighbors that are here supporting this event. There's a lot of you here right now, and that's a big deal. You know, I do a lot of these, and I've done them in some cities you may have heard of. One of them is called Chicago. One of them is called Atlanta. Something with a DC in it. You can never remember that first word. Washington, yeah, that's the one. And it's not unusual for me to go to these big cities where the arts are supposed to be so important and see half the number of people in the audience supporting the same number of people on stage. Which probably explains one of the reasons why the Atlanta Symphony went on lockout and why those musicians were not paid, because they didn't think they could raise enough money from the community. I stand before you today to let you know that music is alive and it's well. The problem is it's stuck in some people, like me. Hopefully like them and hopefully like you. The reality is that there's a lot of people out there that don't think this is worthwhile anymore. And to those people, I ask a very simple question. When you look at the past 30 hours, and you look at what has happened on this stage, what those people don't understand is that we, as educators, your teachers, the people that get there early every day and unlock that band room, the people that have that room open where your kids go to hang out before school and after school because they feel safe. What these people don't understand is that we don't just teach notes. We teach some other pretty important things which I think apply to everyday life. Things called community, things called passion, things called dedication, perseverance, commitment, and a desire of people who may not otherwise ever have met each other to get together and work towards a common goal to deliver a message that's unified between all those people. You name me a profession in this world that would not be better served by young men and women who are learning those qualities growing up in today's world. And you name me other disciplines out there that teach that the way we do in music. It's time to stop arguing why music needs to stay a part of our school and start arguing why music is one of the solutions to fix what's going on in our schools. I've seen it happen over and over again. The way music helps kids that otherwise drop out of school, they stay in school. The way it reduces dropout rate. The way it increases test scores. The way kids involved in music have higher capacity to learn foreign languages because they have better pitch and pattern recognition. Higher IQs. But I don't care about that part of it. What I care about is that somebody on this stage, somewhere, maybe not in this group, maybe another group, but somewhere on a stage, somewhere, somebody this age in an honor group right now, this year, will eventually become a congressman, a congresswoman, a senator, a president. And I don't know about you, but it's about time that somebody who gets into those offices is somebody who understands the ideas of compassion, and somebody who understands the idea of what it is like to be an artist and to be creative and not just memorize and not just go to a curriculum because that's the new standard, but let our kids create. That's what we need. That's what we've always been. That is what defines humanity, is this ability to create, to imagine. Albert Einstein's always talked about how imagination was more important than logic. Logic is defined. Imagination encircles the world. We teach imagination. We teach passion. So I'll tell you the same thing I told about 2 years ago in Chicago. I've got a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old son. I pray every day that when they're this age, they'll have an honor band to audition for. As a community, we can make that happen. That group in Chicago that I talked to, that program's no longer there. Don't be silent. Make sure that your administrators, your principals, your politicians, make sure you know and they know what music means to you and how we teach so much more than music. Because right now, I see a whole bunch of men and women up on stage that are feeling, and some that are actually feeling for the very first time in a long time. That's what makes us go. That's what makes us human. So to the directors that fight this fight every day, thank you. We couldn't do this without you. And to the parents that drive every day, that come to every concert, that push, that figure out a way to juggle your crazy schedules when you have to be in 8 places at one time, but you do it because you know what matters to them. You're making a difference. And you're one of the people that keep us human. We're going to close with a very exciting piece of music to give you a perspective on the difficulty level of this piece. This piece was commissioned and premiered by the South Carolina All-State Band. And it's called Arabian Dances. It's based on 2 Middle Eastern folk melodies. One of them is called Ala Dalona, the other one